Welcome to Sure Thing. We're Lakey Peterson
and Kaleigh Gilchrist, two athletes who love exploring the world and sharing our stories.
We'll be taking you through the good times, the tough times, and everything in between.
Basically, it's about chasing dreams, staying inspired, and having fun along the way.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
All right, you guys, welcome back to Sure Thing. Thank you for being with us. If you've made it this far this week, we actually have a really fun episode. Kaleigh and I were talking. We've obviously had some great guests on. We've done some fun episodes with just me and her, which will continue. But we thought we'd get you guys involved, our listeners, our friends, our family, our fans, everyone. So we put out a Q&A on the Instagram, which many of you saw, and we actually got a lot of questions, which was really cool to hear for both myself and Kaleigh. So we're kind of going to go through the questions. I'm going to ask Kaleigh a few that were directed towards her. She's going to ask me quite a few that were directed towards me, and then we're going to do a couple that we thought were for both of us to answer. So, yeah, it's kind of going to be fun, a little bit different. Maybe if you've submitted these questions, thank you. If you're listening, you might have similar questions that we're going to be able to answer, and I'm sure we'll do more in the future. So I'm excited. How are you feeling, KG?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, sweet. All right, I'm going to kick it off asking you a question, which I love this question, actually. LA 28 comeback, question mark? Which I would just absolutely love to see Kaleigh come back with a little baby and just destroy chicks. But that is a question for you, not for me. So tell the people.
I mean, honestly, I would love to. I think about it every day. I'm waiting for my coach to call me up and be like, all right, let's go. Let's do this thing. But,
yes,
it's a decision not just about myself now. Obviously, personally, it's about, my husband and my family and all the time it takes and effort it takes to compete at that level. And it's also about the team. I've thought about this a lot lately because I literally think about it every day if I want to try to come back or not. But, this team has started its own journey and they've already been training together for about a year and they're putting in time and they're grinding and you've got some, newbies, you got some oldies, but part of what makes USA Water Polo great is that the time and effort put in to becoming a good team is, so important. And I wouldn't want to really just jump in and change the dynamics or, maybe not respect the work that is needed to do. Not saying it's never, but I think that door is pretty much closed. But trust me, I think about it all the time. I got in the pool and swam, and for any of the swimmers out there listening, it was bad. I swam 1,000 yards, at a 1:30 pace, and I was like, wow, maybe this is a sign that I should just shut that door completely. But I'm a diehard. I'm such a fan. I feel like I follow the team more so than I ever have, and I'm waking up, watching games, drinking coffee at 5 a.m. I still am following along, and obviously I have to make a 100% decision pretty soon, but I think the decision's kind of made for me, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I'm sure you could do it if you wanted to do it, but of course, yeah, that completely makes sense. And it's not like you haven't accomplished enough in the sport of water polo, so you don't have much to prove.
True. I mean, it would be pretty cool to have my daughter in the stands. I'm just saying. But all right, Lakey. So I feel like we've got a handful of these questions. People want to know: are you leaving San Clemente and are you moving to Australia full time?
I am gonna not fully answer that question. I do see Australia as being a really big part of Tom and I's future. Obviously, he's Australian. I love Australia. I spend so much time here, and I have been competing here forever, and will continue to do so. So, of course, I do see Australia as a huge part of our future, especially when raising a family and having kids and all that. So I guess yes and no, because we're still always going to be very rooted in California and Santa Barbara, actually, where I grew up, more than probably San Clemente, I think, in our future. I think I'd like to spend a lot more time back up in Santa Barbara. Not that I don't love San Clemente, but I do like Santa Barbara the most. So I think we'll be a little bit more split in our time between Santa Barbara and Australia. That's the goal as of now, and we'll just see how that unfolds for sure. But I wouldn't say a full-time move quite yet to Oz.
Sounds like the dream either way.
Yeah. It's a lot of traveling and with kids one day, because we do want kids, it's definitely like, oh, that's a long flight to be going back and forth. But I do have friends that do it, and they get back and they spend a good chunk of time. I was actually talking to my mom the other day because it's like they can live, one of the families is whether they're living in America and they have family in Australia, or live in Australia and they have family in America. Like, I swear I'll see my family more when we split our time between Australia and California rather than right now when I'm on tour. Like, I just never see my friends and family right now as is. So I actually think it'll be good. I'll get to spend more time with everyone I love, even if I'm living in a different country at that stage, if that makes sense. So,
Totally.
it'll be good. Okay, we're just going to keep flip-flopping. I'm going to you. This is good. I'm actually really curious what you say here. Kaleigh, what is your most memorable polo win? There's been a lot.
It's got it. We've had some wins. I think it's got to be the first gold medal. Like, there's just something extraordinary about winning that first one and reaching your lifelong dream and goal. And the thing with Rio is I had a lot of friends and family down there. Obviously, Tokyo was COVID, so there was no fans, friends, families. So being able to obviously celebrate with the team, be on the podium, like watching the American flag raise, singing the national anthem. Like, I was so proud to be an American at that point. And then running over to your family and friends who, we were young at that time. So they were A-plus partiers, and they're just like hooting and hollering, and tears were falling, like hugging each other. And then we just had like the time of our life that night. So I think there's just something special about that. Tokyo was obviously an amazing accomplishment. Personally, for me, I just overcame a lot of adversity in that quad, but I think there's still nothing like that first one.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. For those of you that don't know, Kaleigh and her friends and all of her friends on her polo team can have a great time and party hard. And so I'm sure in Brazil, post first Olympic gold medal, it was the best time ever. I actually wish I was just there to join the party with you guys, but yeah, that makes so much sense.
Play hard,
You're
baby.
First of any, yeah, I love that about you. I always have.
Oh, okay. So this is so great. We just asked you about Australia and San Clemente. Now, people want to know the Tom and Lakey's love story. Talk to us about it.
You guys should go back and listen to the Tom episode we did early on. It dives into our love story, so go listen to that if you're curious about our love story. But I met Tom because he's from Bells Beach, and I was there competing because we go to Bells every single year. And we actually just got set up on a blind date. We had like a mutual friend, and they set us up, and that was it. It was it sounds crazy to say, like an old school way of meeting, but yeah, it was just so organic. It was a full setup. I had lost in the comp, so I was like, I don't really want to go out and meet this guy, and I don't know, like, I'm going home tomorrow. It was like a long time we had been in Australia, and then it ended up being Tom. And yeah, we actually did long distance for like we did long distance for years, but the first 7 months, I only met him that one night, and I left the country. I left Australia the next day. We were going to the next event, and we just talked online for like 7 months and got to know each other that way. And then he came out to Hawaii at the end of the year, and yeah, it was kind of made more official. But yeah, pretty crazy. That was like 11, 12 years ago now, which
That's
is
wild.
Making me sound old, and I'm not that old. Yeah, it's crazy. We've been together a long time, a very long time. So
yeah, we love the Allens.
There's one for me. Yeah,
Aww.
Thanks, guys. All right, KG. Oh, compare childbirth to an Olympic workout, and having a baby harder than being an Olympian? Favorite part about having your baby so far? So there's a few in that, but start from the top.
Man. Okay, let's talk about childbirth, comparing it to an Olympic workout. I'm
curious.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say right now. It's intense. They were, for me at least, it was like basically on the Olympic team, we train, 2-3 hour practices a day, and my intense, so it's probably 6 hours total for me, like from beginning to start, for my labor. So it was technically like an Olympic workout, 2 Olympic workouts the whole day. And I just think when you're competing, you go into another level. It's like game mode, like let's freaking go. Like I can run through a wall and, just take
Yeah.
over. And then during childbirth, there's a whole nother level of that. Like this primal instinct takes over and you're just like, making crazy noises. You're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just game mode times 1,000. So I think I was ready and I prepared like very similarly, but I just think childbirth is such a unique, amazing, wonderful experience that I would say it's different, but maybe harder. Like it was pretty intense. Like don't get me wrong, we've had some intense water polo trainings too, so uncomparable. And then
Surely
regards to having
childbirth
beta-
was harder.
it
Don't
was
they say
intense.
it's like the
Yeah.
most painful thing in the world aside from birding alive?
Well,
It's like-
how funny is this? It's like, everyone always says that you slowly start blacking out the pain or like the bad remembrance because you're like your body's resetting and getting you ready to have another baby. So for sure, if this conversation was happening the day after childbirth, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Childbirth's the gnarliest thing I've ever done in my entire life. But I feel like my brain's already blacking that stuff out. But yeah, that was the
Right.
coolest thing I've ever done in my life, hands down. Like better than any Olympic
Amazing.
medal times a million. And then is it
And-
harder? Again, different. For sure harder. Like, are you kidding me? With water polo or being at the Olympics, like there's an end date and then there's like you can shut off too in between practices. You can go and relax and stuff. Like being a mother doesn't shut off. Even if somehow, I see my mom still. I'm freaking 33 years old and she's still sleepless nights if I'm traveling around the world. So I only imagine you just don't sleep ever again. You're always worrying about being a good parent and keeping this thing alive. And with water polo, it's like, all right, let's go to practice. Let's have a good practice. Let's maybe do a couple extra stuff in between. And then let's go home and let's shut our water polo mind off and decompress. And you just can't shut your mother mind off. So it's definitely harder. And then the favorite part for sure is just like, Sandy's 2 months old now and just hasn't fully giggled, but she's smiling and she's beginning to recognize my voice and my smells and like having conversations. She'll coo back at me if I'm like cooing or humming at her. So it's just that interaction already is like that's the coolest, most special thing, like melts my heart. So a lot in that question, but motherhood rocks.
Shout out moms. You guys are the best.
Hopefully you'll be there before you know it, Lakes.
Yes, one day.
All right.
One day.
So most dream tour spot to win, regardless if it's on this the calendar this year, just all together out of any of the contests you surfed, what one do you want to win?
Ooh. Oh gosh, that's a loaded question. I feel like obviously winning any event on the calendar is like so hard. They all are the same amount of points. They all technically mean the same thing. But there's a few that like you'd almost consider as like a grand slam if you want it, Pipeline would be one of those of like the greats have won that event and it's just the most iconic wave in the world. So I feel like the pinnacle would be winning an event at Pipeline. Like I feel like almost any surfer on the tour would say that just because of the prestige of it and the everything. It's so hard to master that wave. It's so scary. It's just so challenging. And it's obviously Pipeline. So I would say that one. Now, I think also, though, everyone has like their own personal ones they want to win. Like that's probably the overall answer. For me at this stage, and I've said this, like it would be getting a bell and winning bells. And I think that's just because there's like such a personal connection for me to that place. And that's sort of, I guess, classified. I guess if there was a grand slams in surfing, that would probably be one of them too. Not as good of a wave, certainly, but I would love to get a bell. And then in terms of events that I have won on the calendar, the most special, I would say it would be J-Bay, or I did win on the Gold Coast at Snapper, and that was also pretty iconic feeling and pretty special. So sorry, that was sort of 3 answers in one, but I feel like there's tiers. I'd put Pipeline as the pinnacle to win. Bells is my personal one I want to win that hasn't. And then Snapper and J-Bay are the 2 most favorites of mine. So
I love
hope
it.
that makes sense.
Well, we got Snapper's
right.
coming up.
I know. Hey, man, let's go. And the bank's good. I'm excited. And I'm still going here in WA. So let's just go back to back real quick.
There we go.
Okay. What advice, KG, do you have for adult women who want to get into surfing or where to start? That's actually
This is great. Yeah, you can chime in too. I would say do your preparation. I feel like safety's, I think, first priority. So when you see people that don't understand what they're doing and don't understand how powerful the ocean is, that's when they can get into some sketchy situations. So I just make sure, do your water safety, like be able to handle yourself out in the ocean, and then know the rules. I think that's when, moderate or professional surfers get so upset, is when people don't know the rules and the regulations of the ocean and how surfing works. And it's all about respect. You have somebody that can barely stand up, but if they're respecting the lineup, then it's like, dude, yeah, the ocean's for everyone. Come have fun. But then if you have somebody that doesn't understand or respect it, and they're, getting in your way, or, taking off on people, being loud, obnoxious in the lineup, that's when it starts getting annoying. So I would say just do the preparation on that. And then where to start. What's crazy now is that there's wave pools around the world, and wave pools, I would say, is the best place to learn to surf because it's in a controlled environment. And if you don't obviously have the resources to go to the wave pool, start at the local beach. Learn where the beginner spots are. Don't be afraid to hire a surf coach or go do a surf camp, because they'll teach you all those, those rules or etiquette, so to say. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree completely. I think it's definitely wise to go to like a surf school or hire a surf coach, especially like if you live in California. There's so many great little surf coaches that will take you to the right spot. And I feel like so much of your success when you're trying to learn to surf, especially if you're old, like an adult, it can be so frustrating if you just like don't have the right board and you go to the wrong spot. Those two things are so huge. So I feel like just go to the beginner spot, make sure it's a beginner spot, and then just get a coach for the first couple of times, and it'd probably be super helpful and beneficial. And then I love what you said, Kaleigh, like learn the rules, learn the etiquette, because there is etiquette and there is rules, and it's really important to know that. It's not only like dangerous if you don't learn the rules, but also just for everybody else in the lineup. It's like, and the ocean is certainly for everyone, and you work your way up, and but I think it is really frustrating when people are trying to learn to surf, and it's not fun for them either. They kind of feel like they're maybe in the way or something, they get yelled at, and it's like they don't know what they're doing wrong. So, worth like
and
talking
then
to someone to learn the rules. Yeah.
The last thing I would say is foam is your friend. The bigger the board, the better when you're learning how to surf.
Amen. Yeah,
it makes it so much more fun. All right, Lake.
Just glide,
I love
baby.
this question.
Yes. Hit me.
How do you feel when you heard when Riss and Steph decided to come back? Was it like an oh no situation? Or do you think the new girls on tour are more of a threat now?
That's a great question. Is it an oh no? No, it wasn't an oh no. I think because I've competed with them both for so long that I was more like, oh, rad. I have, the girls that I've surfed with for so long on tour coming back. I'm not just with a bunch of teenagers and then me. So it felt cool to hear they were coming back. And obviously in my head, I do know though, and I don't know if all the younger girls realize, like obviously all the young girls on tour have so much respect for Chris and Steph. They're the two GOATs, and they've all grown up watching them win titles and gold medals and whatever. But I think I just knew they're both coming back to like want to win and totally capable of winning events and doing really, really well and being really gnarly. And I totally know that and see that. And I don't know if the younger girls realize that yet. I'm sure they will the more events we get in, Steph hasn't had the best start, but she'll click, and Chris is starting to look really good. So no, I just think it's rad. It's such a cool group of women. And I think having that generation on tour with me plus the younger girls, it just made it feel like complete and like the coolest group of female surfers ever on the tour. And I was all for it. Obviously, Carissa being a mom too, like I just think that's so rad for for women to be able to see, for myself to be able to see, like that's an option, if you want that. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. And then in terms of if I think they're more of a threat on tour, or the young girls are more of a threat on tour, I think everyone's in that pile. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, Carissa or Steph could combo everyone, win any event. And so could, Tia Zabrowski, the youngest girl on tour. So I don't really feel like, I think everyone is basically just as much of a threat on the tour. I don't really feel like one over the other.
Yeah,
It's
I do
everyone.
too.
So
I like
yeah,
to, I'm an oldie, so I love the vets, and the only thing I would say is the
yeah,
experience, maybe that they have an upper hand, but the skill is insane on the tour. Everyone has the skill to win. If you guys haven't seen,
yes.
you gotta check out Erin Brooks' Instagram. It's such a cool. She did a throwback before bells, and I think there's a photo of her handing off her board to Lakey, and there's a photo of her and Steph, I believe, and she was like teeny tiny, and she surfed against
Yeah.
Steph. Is that right? Something like that. It's so rad. Just the before and afters of how they looked up to all these amazing women surfing, and now they're competing against them.
Yeah, it was cool. Erin had a speech at the award show before bells kicked off. She won a couple of awards. Um, but it was sweet. She actually in her speech she shouted out a few people that I don't know, just helped her along the way or inspired her when she was little. And I guess one of them, I gave her a board when we were at Honolulu Bay. And I remember seeing her out there. I didn't even know who she was. She was like this tiny girl out there every day. And after seeing her every day, I gave her my board. I was like, hey, you're that girl who like is out here, and she still has the board today to this day. And then, yeah, she had some cool stories with Steph. And it was nice to hear her perspective there and realize like you do have an impact. And now she's doing her thing and probably going to win many, many world titles. So it's cool to feel like you had a small impact on someone like that.
Yeah, well,
But
you
yeah.
got an impact on her this season, 2-0 versus Erin.
Yeah. Well, she got me every time last season. So I'm like, all right, girl, here we go.
Oh, I love that.
Let's even this out. All right, KG. How do you envision yourself being involved with women's water polo in the future? That's a good one.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've really thought about it too hard. I love the sport. Love the community. It's some of the most amazing people. And I always knew I wanted to come back to it to some degree. Like I've talked about it over and over, like a broken record of how just upset after Paris I was and really needed to take time away. And I'm slowly gravitating back towards the people and the sport. I know I will never, or never say never, but I know at least right now, coaching is not in my future. It's just so intense and just a
Yeah.
really big time commitment. But I would love to continue Camps for Champs with Cammie Craig, who's going to be coming up on the pod shortly. We host these camps, one or two
Yes.
or three a year. It's our way to give back to the younger generation. It's like, 4 or 5 hours for one day, and we just have fun. We teach them, just the normal development things, but also outside in the classroom life lessons of just how to, have confidence, be a good teammate. And I think that's where I get the most joy, is just being a mentor. Even so in my playing days, I always kind of took one or two of the younger girls under my wing and mentor them. So I think I could see more camps. For instance, I'm going down to NC2As this weekend to announce NC2As is the national championship. So I think I'll just be around the sport.
Yep.
I'll love to go watch and cheer the team on. I don't necessarily see a role, a full-time role in water polo, but I'm just forever a fan.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's always a role there if you want it at any point. Like you would be such a good coach. You are such a good mentor. And Camps for Champs, by the way, everyone should check it out. It's actually so cool what you guys do. And yeah, just such a great way to get people involved and stoked on being teammates and having fun and working hard. Like it's really, really rad. So I'm
Oh, thanks,
sure you
Lakes.
can go into any direction of water polo if you want it. That's always going to be there. But no, that's cool.
I just want to be like the hype girl. Like, do I have to be at the pool 6 hours
You're
a
the
day? No,
best
thank
hype
you.
girl.
Like, but I just want
Yeah.
to go to like the important stuff and just hype everyone up and be like, this is awesome. I'm jealous you get to play and get to do this. Enjoy it. It's the best
Yes.
thing ever.
Heck
All right,
yeah.
Lakes, you're working with Leandro. People want to know what
Mhm.
it's like and what is his coaching style like.
I actually get that question a lot. That's so funny. I love Leandro. This is my second year working with him. Leandro Dora, obviously his son, Yago Dora, was the men's world champion last year and off to a crazy start this year. And yeah, he's great. I guess what it's like working with him, he's Brazilian, so he's really passionate, a natural Brazilian, like they carry a lot of passion, but he's really I don't know the right word. He's just a solid, like, good to the bone human being, and he will work so hard for you. For me as the athlete, like, he's the coach that you just know is gonna be there in the rain at 5 a.m., ready to go if you want him to be there, and never give up on you, never doubt you. Like, he's just really a solid, puts the effort in, great coach. It's funny with Leandro, when I first started working with him, I wasn't, I'd never done even one event with him. Um, and he films every single surf, which for me was actually like a huge thing. You would think most
Yeah.
coaches would film because it's so helpful, but they don't. And so doing like the footage review with him has probably been like the most helpful and impactful part. He's really good with technique. He's really good with breaking down like little things within your surfing, which has been for me really fun, especially just being a little bit older, just getting to sort of try and work and reinvent little things and not just always be focusing. Of course, we used like before heat, we're talking about the waves and heat strategy and this and that, but also he's almost more into like how to make you just a better overall surfer with technique throughout the whole year, which has just been really cool because you're obviously competing, trying to win events and focus on that, but along the way you're just working on those key things in your surfing and not getting too focused on the event the whole time. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
that's been like a really fun aspect to it. And the team is really cool. Luana Silva works with him and she's so sweet and we work really well together. So that's been really great. And he actually just started working with Italo Ferreira this year and Mateus Hurdy. So all Brazilians. It's a lot. I can't speak a
Lot of
word of
energy over
Brazilian,
there.
but yeah, Portuguese. Yeah, a lot of energy. But good people. And he's a workhorse too. Like, if he could have me surf every day, all day, I would be out there. So I got to put like some parameters sometimes, be like, nope, I'm taking a rest day today, Leandro. I'm not going down there. It's 20 foot and hail and like onshore. But yeah, he's just a solid guy and really good with technique. The footage review is my favorite thing about the whole process with him. So yeah, hopefully that
Yeah,
gives you
whatever
guys some insight.
yeah, whatever you guys are doing, it's working. You got 2 quarterfinals finishes, the first 2 contests, and hopefully deeper run in the second contest. So you guys are
Yes,
doing something
yes,
right.
let's go. Thanks, KG. Um, what is some advice you would give to a young water polo player with big dreams? Good one.
I think if you have I mean, you need to start with the big dreams because that's, the ultimate goal
Mm,
of where you want to go. So I think you need to be able to see it and visualize and imagine you getting to that big dream. So say you start, you're an 8-year-old, use this as an example, an 8-year-old and you want to go play water polo in college at USC. So yeah, that's important that that's your dream and that's where you want to end up. But you can't just look at that or else you're going to get burnt out or tired. That's whatever, 10 years away. So my best advice would be just see the big dream, but break it down to a bunch of littler dreams and goals that you can check off along the way. So,
yep.
8-year-old self, you're like, okay, I want to make the junior Olympic team. And then you get to check that off. And then the next one's, okay, I want to make the varsity high school team. And you check that off. And before you know it, you're getting recruited to USC and you're signing up to go play at USC and hopefully win a national championship. So I think having these
Yep.
small goals in the big scheme of things is the most important. And even if it's obviously something smaller, like I want to beat my 100 time by 1 second and just having fun
Mm-hmm.
with it. And it gives you challenges, like especially for a sport of water polo, there aren't a lot of measurables that you can have. So hold on to the measurables that you can. And then you can see your progression as you grow and as you get better. So I think that would be my biggest advice.
That's really great advice. That's just good life advice. Good for whatever you're doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so true. You got to just break it all down, but have the big goal in mind the whole way through. And also probably just knowing like the ups and downs are going to come too, right? Like it's
For
such a
sure.
tough sport and so competitive. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
always like
mean, that's
the
just
saying,
life.
the little things make the big things happen.
I love that. That's maybe my
All
new
right.
favorite
Wait.
quote right there.
I love this. Because we all want to know the tea, that what goes down behind the
Oh,
curtains.
God.
So if there is like really bad judging in a heat, do you have conversations with
Mm.
the WSL or with the WSL judges behind the scenes?
Yeah, great question.
Oh, gotta take a
Obviously,
sip of water for this one.
well, last year I had some conversations, many. Um, no, it's a great question. Obviously, our sport is judged, and they are not going to get it right every time. They're human beings,
Yeah.
so they're going to get it wrong. And also, there's going to be a lot of heats throughout the year, whether it's your heat or other heats that you're watching, where you feel like, "Ooh, that was a close one. It could have kind of gone either way." And obviously, if you're in the heat, you always feel like it should have gone your way, and you're seeing it
Yeah.
from your perspective. Um, that being said, to get to the root of the question, like, do you go talk to them? Yeah, I do. Like last year, actually it was after El Salvador, I had a heat and I lost, and I went and rewatched the heat, because you can sometimes come in and everyone around you is like, oh, you won that heat, like that was lame, go talk to them. But I do think it's important to stop and watch it for yourself and watch all
Yeah.
the waves you rode and your competitor rode, and not just take it from everyone else around you. Even if you feel like they're right, they're going to shoot you straight. But you got to, if
And
you're going to
take the
go talk to the
emotions out of
judges,
it.
100%. And you got to like really look at it with your own two eyes and see it, and maybe see like, okay, I could see where they got that score from or whatever. So that's important, not to go in too hot. I think some people just fly in there, and I don't feel like that's the right way to go about it. But yeah, their door's open. You have to put in like a request after your heat if you want to go talk to them. And then at the end of the day, you can go in and review the entire heat with them. And they're really open and good about that. And, the head judge is in there, and he's the one that goes over it with you and breaks it down. And like last year, I went in there and I just was super honest. I was really bummed. Like I told him exactly how I felt and why. And sometimes the judges, I've had, in the past be like, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think maybe we did get it wrong. Like that has totally happened, but they can't change it at that point. And that almost is worse if that happens, because you're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool,
Cool.
thanks.
Yeah.
Um,
This is your job.
but then also, yeah, but then most of the time they're explaining their side, and it might give you more clarity of like, okay, I didn't realize that's what you were looking at, or maybe that's what, something in their criteria was getting scored a little higher than you thought it was getting scored that day, so that's why they scored the other person in a certain way, or whatever it was. So yeah, it's a pretty like, honestly, they're all really cool people, and our head judge is really rad, Luli. He's awesome and totally open to having those conversations, which is the main thing. And I just think always those conversations, if you go in as the athlete, you got to be respectful and level-headed and willing to hear their side, because they're always going to obviously defend themselves and how they scored the heat. So I don't know that that's always every surfer's approach, but that's definitely been
Yeah.
my approach the times I have gone in. I very rarely will go in and talk to them. It has to be like where I feel very strongly about it. So that's only been a few times in my career, but yeah. And we also get at the beginning of the day, like they send us a text of exactly their criteria that day and exactly what they're looking for, like what they're going to score higher than other things. So you have a pretty clear breakdown of like what they're looking at, for the day, which is helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. My question I was
Yeah.
going to ask, do most people talk to the judges?
I think most people, if they feel like, no way I won that heat, will go talk to the judges. But
Yeah.
then on the
Okay.
close ones, I'd say more people leave it. But if it's like definitely every event, I'll say this, definitely every event, an athlete's talking to the judges at some point on either side.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like every event, there's someone going in there saying there's no way.
For sure.
So it is pretty common. Yeah. All right, KG. What do you dislike the most about being an Olympic/collegiate athlete? Yes. Sorry, I kind of
I
butchered that.
think
Do you want me to reread it? You got it.
no, I got it. I think like
Okay.
what I dislike the most. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the older I am and the more perspective I have, but back, especially in college, and definitely a little bit at my first quad in 2016, that I had FOMO. I tried to do everything. So obviously when you get to that level, you have to commit that much more. So what I dislike the most is just missing out. Obviously missing out on the fun
Mm,
party, fun stuff like that, but missing out also on family stuff, on birthdays, on holidays, spending
yep.
time with the people you loved your most because you have to travel, halfway across the world and you're, in not the most glamorous hotels and you're just missing out. But
Mhm.
I think everyone around me understood the sacrifice and were cheering both me and the entire team on. And the older I got, the easier it was to so-called miss out because I realized what I was doing and what our end goal was. And it was just so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's probably something people don't realize with athletes in general is it's amazing, but what you said, like you are always traveling and you miss a lot of those big moments back home, with friends or family. And of course they're there later in life, but I guess that's such a good point you made. Like you are letting go of something else to be able to do that. And there's so much sacrifice in that. So
Yeah,
that totally
totally.
makes sense.
This is great. I always wondered this too. So, do all athletes rent places at tour stops? And if so, are they flexible? Can you make them shorter or longer stays depending on the waiting periods or when you lose?
Oh, that's a good question. I was just having this conversation yesterday with Molly, actually. So, yeah, we book everything ourselves and then everything's on us to pay for too, like flights, Airbnbs, car rentals, like that's all on you. The league doesn't pay for that. And yeah, honestly, the amount of money that probably goes wasted at the end of every year from like Airbnbs that you only showed up and they ran the event in the first 3 days, but you had to book it for the 2 weeks that it could have run because you don't know if the event's gonna go in 3 days or go for 2 weeks when you book it. Um, like there's a lot of places you leave and that Airbnb is just sitting there empty for 7 days and you're off to the next event already. Or airfare changes, like, it's so hard because you wanna book a flexi flight usually, because generally the event doesn't go to the very last day, and you'd wanna leave early once you lose or win the event and go to the next one to start warming up or get home because it's, like, your one small break you have in the season. So that's hard too. There's, like, a lot of airfare costs of trying to change your ticket or book a new flight. Um, yeah, it adds up. It's annoying, and sometimes I think, you sorta just are like, "Okay, this just is what it is," and we're just I don't wanna say wasting that money, but it's just that's just the deal, or you're just gonna have to buy a whole new flight or whatever to get home, so it is a little annoying, like, the not being able to specifically plan your dates of, you know, you have your rough dates that you'll be there, but, arrival and departure for the travel, you definitely spend a lot of money that you probably don't need to at the end of the day, but that's just
Totally.
part of the deal.
Do you have a special strategy to do it? Do you like book maybe two days like before the waiting window ends, or yeah,
It's so
or is that like bad
yeah.
juju?
Well, that's a good question. It is notorious that if you book Bell's, for instance, I booked our flights to come to WA like 3 days before the window closed at Bell's. And of course, Bell's goes to the very end, last day. So then I had to change the tickets and prices went up. So I wasted like $600, had like whatever, had to change it all. So usually now, I actually just wait to book my flights. I'll just book one ways
Yeah,
and
smart.
then book it when I know it's going to be done or, when I lose or win or whatever happens. So I found that's an easier way rather than always feeling like, oh, I'm going to have to change it. Unless it's with my airline where I have status with, then I can change it for free usually. So it just
Shout
depends.
out
But
United.
yeah, yeah. Hook it up. If anyone wants to sponsor us that are airline or Airbnbs, hit us all up because we will
So
take it
you
in a
will
heartbeat.
you do Airbnbs over hotels any day?
I'll do Airbnbs over hotels any days because
Yeah.
I don't like being in a hotel room. Like I want to cook my
Yeah.
food and have a kitchen and
Yep.
stretch and it's just this is our home is on the road. So you gotta I think sometimes a hotel room just feels too like claustrophobic for the whole
almost,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, we want to know, KG, best vanilla latte in OC. Tell us.
This is so funny. My sister and I are doing this mat leave. You know, she goes back to work in about a month. She had a child 4 weeks before me, so she's on mat leave, and we have just been bopping around OC trying coffee shops with our little kiddos everywhere we go. So I've had quite a few, but I'm gonna have to say Alta Coffee. It's just, you know, my hometown favorite. Right down the street from me, neighbors for life, good old people, and they just make a solid vanilla latte.
Alta Coffee. I'm going to have to go when I come visit and meet
Yeah.
Sandy for the first time. That's going to be my stop.
Exactly. All right, so your airs, I saw this firsthand during our Grom days, but your airs were so impactful when you were younger. Why don't you do them as much now? Because we know you have it in you.
Someone said that the other day. They looked at me, it was onshore, and they go, "It's Airwind, LP." And I was like, these bones stay mostly in the water right now at this point in my career. To be fair, I wish I had carried like that air pop that I had when I was younger, especially like I think I was good at them because I was good at skating. And I felt like this is just the honest answer, which is kind of sad or just not good, but it's true. I feel like I got on tour so young, and so much of when I got on tour was just about like getting scores and making heats. And I felt like it was too risky a lot of the time to like do an air rather than do 2 turns and get the score and make the heat. Exactly. And that's not good. But I think a little bit of that is like, yeah, I just was on tour for so long. Whereas my junior years, it was more, that pressure wasn't as big in terms of making heats and like having a full career for myself in this. So I think that hindered me a little bit, and I wish I would have had like a coach at that time or someone to be like, no, push it, do it, like send it. It's all good if you know, it doesn't work out, because I was good at airs and I still do them every now and again. I actually did one at Lowers last summer. I was psyched on. I went like on the Surfline Rewind when I got home and like found it. I was super psyched on it.
I love it.
So yeah, and you know, now the girls are doing incredible airs, all the young girls. So it's really cool, and it's actually really inspiring. It pushes me to want to start trying them again. But honestly, that's a fair call out. I should have kept up with it more through my younger years of competing, because I was good at them. I am good at them. I just kind of lost that drive to do them. So I think that's why. Which is,
well, and then you also have to play like long game, what people don't think. Like, yeah, Lakey can land at airs, but is it trying an air reverse on this little end section to get a point higher, but also maybe like roll your ankle or screw up and get injuries? Is it worth it when you're playing the long game of the season too?
yeah, for
Because
sure.
airs, like,
For
I feel
sure.
like that's where most of the injuries happen in surfing, or airs and like funky little tweaks here and there.
Yeah, they are 100%. Like you see the guys and their knees and ankles are so shot from their landings. Obviously, they're going huge, but it's pretty crazy. So,
Well, all right,
anyways,
goal
maybe
for
I'll
you.
whip it out. I'll whip out.
I was just gonna say, we'll be watching.
If I do an air this year, it's for whoever wrote that question. You've inspired me. So keep an eye out, okay? Air Lakey's coming back. What advice, KG, would you give your younger self going through your first quad? That's a good one.
It's so good, man. That's a lifetime ago, 10 years ago. So I was just a different person. I think it would almost go back to what I disliked the most about going to the Olympics because of my FOMO. Like, I would almost love to tell that person, don't worry about that stuff. That's always going to be there. Like, you can go to the next bar, you can go to the next birthday party, you can go next blah, blah, blah. Like, just focus on this time that you have right here and right now with this group of girls. We had a really special group that quad, a lot of first timers, and we were just experiencing everything for the first time all together. So I would just say be as present as you can be. I think I did a great job of being present, but just be as present as you can be and just really immerse yourself in the sport, the people, the competition, and live it up.
Yeah. Great advice. I mean, straightforward, but makes too much sense. That's awesome. It's freaking gotta live it up.
All right, guys. So we've made it to the questions for both of us. We're going to do a little bit of rapid fire. So I'm going to ask Lakes and then she'll answer hers and then I'll answer with mine. So what wave are you most excited for with the Snug Harbor Surf Park in Newport Beach, California?
Oh my gosh. I feel like you should have gone first on this because I don't know the waves, but I'm really excited for Snug Harbor and I'm going to be there, and anything with like a couple little fun turn sections and a barrel is all me. So if they've got that wave, that's my answer. But you tell us, you're the pro. What's the one?
Well, as the director of surf operations at Snug Harbor, let me tell you, we have any wave you want. So you want a couple turns, a barrel, and an air, we got you. And that sounds like a good wave for me. So that's what we'll say. We'll call it the Lakey Peterson wave.
Heck yeah, I'll be there. Sign me up. That's going to be fun. All right, number 2. Do you practice visualization for both sport and life? KG, you go first.
I totally do, but I realize I don't necessarily call it visualization. Like that to me sounded too like, we have to do this at this time and you have to view it a certain way. So for me, I almost like to dream right before I go to bed, daydream, write a lot of goals, look at it every day. My goals are always on my mirror in my bathroom. So look at it every day. Just little things like that. Affirmations, manifestations. I'm all about that stuff. So yes, very much so a visualization for sport and life, but not necessarily what you would think being like, here's 5 minutes. I'm going to imagine myself packing my water polo bag and getting in the bus and going to the game and going to do this shot. Like I just kind of let my creativity flow, and usually it ends where we want it to end, with like a gold medal around my neck, a healthy baby, or winning a surf contest.
That works. It's worked for you. I do. Yeah, I guess similar to you. I definitely do like pretty specific sport visualization, like how I want to compete. And that day I'll like run through my heat, run through my warm up in my head, see it, feel it. So I think I actually do maybe more for sport than life. And I found it to be honestly really helpful for like specific things I'm trying to accomplish, which I could do for my life as well. But I think I've put it into practice more towards sport, So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Okay. How do you stay motivated day after day, year after year?
I think you just gotta always have something that you're working towards. That might be not always results. Like I think for me, the motivation's more of like, okay, can I get better in this area of my surfing? Can I enjoy the process more in this way? Like, can I let go a little bit and have a different perspective? I think the motivation, it gets stale if you just keep doing the same thing year in, year out. And of course it gets hard, but I think it's more about, just trying to, keep chipping away at like your personal goals within the sport or how you want to compete rather than having it be on like if you win or lose. I think my motivation's more of, can I, get better? Can I hang with these young girls in these certain ways? It's more those like personal goals rather than maybe the external looking goals for me. And that's helped a lot. But how about you?
I think it's safe to say that I'm not always motivated. Like sometimes I'm down in the dumps, whether it's a day or whether it's months. Like it takes time. So when that motivation is lacking, that's when I lean into friends and family and support. And then I'm reminded, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing or whatever goal I have? I like to think that's pretty rare for me. So I'm lucky, but it's just something to acknowledge. And I think, again, like I even mentioned earlier, just having the little goals, little things make big things happen. So those are the 2 things I would say about motivation.
Yeah, that's very true. Very good. All right, our last one. Do you still have doubts of self-doubt / confidence? If so, how do you deal with it?
Yes, always. I went swimming the other
100%.
day and surfing the other day, and that, I ate a piece of humble pie. It was sad. I'm like, am I ever going to be as fast as I once was, or am I ever going to be able to surf like I once did? And in the back of my mind, I know I have confidence that I'll be able to if those are the goals I choose to do. But, I think to just be okay and know that confidence ebbs and flows, but wherever I've had the most confidence is knowing that I did the work beforehand, that the preparation was done, that the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed, and then I can just rely on my training, rely on my mental practice, and that usually flows into having confidence in my sports and in life.
I mean, I just would echo exactly what you just said. Everyone has self-doubt. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're the greatest in the world or you're last place in the world at what you're doing. We all have them. And Kaleigh couldn't have said it any better. So perfect. That's it.
I love
That's
it.
the Q&A.
That's our first ever Q&A. There'll be more, but thanks for listening, you guys. We'll see you next episode.
Thanks, everybody.